What's happening, family? Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you. Hope everybody is having a wonderful and beautiful day today. I want to get into he said we're here for the Ghana word. We're gonna talk Ghana. You in Ghana? If you in Ghana, press 1. First of all, I got some. If you in Ghana, don't press 1. DM me if you are in Ghana. I need to know. Ghana is something different. It's a whole different announcement. If you are in Ghana, DM me if you are in Ghana. I'll let you know. You got a gaming company? Oh, that's hard. I'm just put this number up here first. All right, so listen, I wanted to, before we get to Ghana, I'm going to do everything in a row. There's a lot of things to pay attention to, and I really try not to give too many updates these days on purpose on a lot of things when it deals with it, because a lot of people don't like taking accountability and responsibility when it comes to, their education, right? Chicago Crypto Bully, shout out to my brother. I've been meaning to hit you up for a while so we can sit down and get these things together. But I wanted to have just a conversation with you all, because I think a lot of people suffer from hype news, and when things are not hyped in the news, then they're not paying attention to it. And that's very dangerous, especially as we talk about building wealth. I had made a post the other day talking about the fact that, we got to be able to focus on, safe, secure, and sometimes even boring ways to build wealth, but you have to know, when it's necessary to take calculated risk. And where we are as a culture and how far we behind from this financial revolution, understanding and having an education on this new money matrix, as my brother Chicago Crypto Bully calls it, is very important. And so it's like with cryptocurrency, you've seen a lot of stuff in the news that's been scaring folks, while you got all the corporations and these large institutions accumulating it. And some people are calling it the Bitcoin rush. It's now starting to be seen, right, as this rush. Like, how many people are worried at this point, like, if there's going to even be enough Bitcoin. And large institutions have seen it, because it's now has gotten to a point where, the people are holding, when they say, hold on to dear life, people have gotten to a point where no matter what's going on with Bitcoin, they're not selling, right? And that creates a lot of stability within the asset. It's in a completely different place, to where it's not about people seeing it as like the sexy magical tool for financial sovereignty, as it is seeing it as an actual class. For some, that's boring. For people that's in crypto, they see Bitcoin as boring. For institutional holders, they see it as a little risky, but they also see it as necessary in their portfolio, right? So just from a Bitcoin standpoint, we start there, because if you start understanding Bitcoin, the blockchain, then you can start understanding the rest of the money matrix, right? And then you got, of course, like Ethereum. And the important thing about these things are saying, nobody said about nothing. So what everybody is saying about the cryptocurrency, especially with like, or let's say the regulators, right? Because you got Gensler, and what they were saying with it is essentially they're considering Bitcoin to not be, a security, and some other things with Ethereum. Now, this is important to focus on. Basically, they said because Bitcoin is not controlled by anybody, that this is why they're not going after Bitcoin, because essentially they can't, right? And then, of course, you got XRP. And once you understand XRP, if this thing continues to grow and this thing's go and they win their case, then we can see SRP create a round of many millionaires. And I think that'd be completely exciting for the crypto space. Now, there are, of course, a lot of other, low cap crypto coins and things of that nature, and tokens that people can focus on, but that's going to be education that if you actually want to get interested in, then you need to get into it. Then you got, let's say, NFTs, and when we talk NFTs, you should more so talk about SBTs, soul-bound tokens, because as we start to talk about soul-bound tokens, you're talking about permanent, ownership of digital assets, right? And this permanency gives them a different level of value. Like, I just left the passport agency. So imagine if the government, instead of utilizing utilizing the systems that they have now to keep a ledger for that data, instead they issued you a digital version of your passport, and it is bound to you, right? So everybody has them a passport in a digital form, and you can't send it to anybody else. It's stuck to your wallet on your blockchain. The same way you have things on your phone that you can pull up and you can swipe, like when you go to the airport and you want to add your itinerary or your boarding pass on top of your on your phone, your digital wallet. Same exact thing with the soulbound tokens, right? So soulbound tokens and the technology of non-fungible tokens is still very solid in my opinion. I think it's one of the best technologies that come about that can have a great use case, right? Something that I don't see people paying attention to enough is DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, right? DAOs, unlike every other technology that has come about, they have not had a moment where they went bubble up, right? Because the DAOs had their moment early on, right? So there was some DAOs early that was started off utilizing Ethereum, and it's the reason why Ethereum had to split and create another token, Ethereum Classic, to try to give people back their money when there were some issues with DAOs. Now, you understand what a DAO is. Decentralized Autonomous Organization is essentially an organization that people can buy in, and they have voting power within that, making them a registered owner on the blockchain of that based on the percentage of money that they put in or investment. Now, each DAO can be set up differently. So instead of you having a corporation where there's one corporate figure that's at the top of it, it now can be, lateral structure, meaning that everybody owns it. So it's not top down, it's like a circular, structure of power, right? So let's say I wanted to create a high level conversation DAO, and I say, okay, if you buy into the high level conversation DAO, let's say you put in $100, $200, and I allow for 10,000 slots. Now, we go say, okay, what do you all want me to do next for high level conversation? What topic? You all can vote, and based on the amount of money that you put in, you have voting power within that DAO, right? Which is great. So you can be like, you know what? I want you that Denzel Washington on. And I'd be like, okay, well, can I take a percentage of this budget and book Denzel Washington? And the people vote yes, or I can't do anything unless you vote upon it, right? So there's a treasury. So you take a percentage of that treasury. Percentage could be for events, right? And let's say everybody that's a part of that DAO can now say, you know what? I think that High Level Conversation should have an event in New York, and we should throw a large festival, bring all of the speakers that you have, right? So therefore, now this DAO gets to decide what the business does, and you as an owner in the DAO gets to vote on it because you now have a percentage of voting power, right? Or we can just say, let's raise $1 million and collectively let's decide what we want to do with that money, right? So percentage will go to the people who actually structure it, who run it, right? Who do a percentage can go to the marketing, the advertisement can go to research and development, can go to products, it can go to many different things. But it is a community-led business structure, right? Which is very powerful within itself. And this is something that I haven't been focused on a lot, and this is something I'm going to turn focus into more in the BWO as we go into the later months, because this is information that I think people need to understand, and setting up infrastructures for the future, right, of business, because having a community is having a brand. If you don't have a community, you don't have a brand. It's necessary. And you not only need a community, but you need a media arm. And so another important part of understanding the blockchain is verification, period, right? So let's say media, there's a lot of fake news, there's a lot of AI, there's a lot of different things that's going to make it very hard for you to tell what's real and what's artificial. So the blockchain creates a system of verification of where a person can check and see and say, wait a minute, y'all get all those fake pages from 19 Keys. Well, Instagram experimented with NFTs, right? And they're going to have to end up coming back to create a second layer of verification. So basically, let's say if somebody wants to steal your account, steal whatever, instead you got blockchain, and if they don't have your wallet, they don't have your seed phrase, if they don't have your your blockchain ownership, then it's going to make it a lot 10,000 times harder for them to steal identification or commit fraud, right? Which I think is 100% necessary, important in the new infrastructure of Web3 going forward when it comes to, the future of technology and infrastructure. Then we got, my bro that I would suggest y'all check out is my brother, Chicago Crypto Bully, when it comes to decentralized finance, right? So there's so many different things that you can do in that, and decentralized finance is what it says in by its word. You have centralized finance, which is, of course, owned by central entities, right? So you look at the banking cabals and the families. Decentralized is speaking towards the fact that you get to own your financial sovereignty in a way you set up your structure. So instead of going to, the bank and they giving you 0.6% during an inflation being 10% and you losing money, you can decide how you want to leverage your money. And there's so many different ways that you can do it, because let's say that you want to, and here's the dope thing in the future, especially when we talk about SBTs and NFTs. Let's look at the use case, because I'm so glad we now out of the era of the heart or the art bubble, right? And we're going straight to use case. And this is something that I said many times that people don't pay attention to. Use case is so beautiful, right? People selling houses on the blockchain, right? Selling cars on the blockchain, and the blockchain just being a marketplace that can be the safest place to transact in the future. I think would be powerful. Now, we're probably not going to see that until AI is built in, integrated within it, because AI, especially with quantum computers and things of that nature, allows us to do things that we normally can't do, right? And because we can't do those things yet, the adoption is a little slow when it comes to the progression. And so there's a lot of people that won't get in yet until there's some hype. But I think most people are going to get in when these companies just start building it into their infrastructure. So what I mean by that is, Azuki just dropped the NFT project, and they did like 20K ETH, right? 20,000 ETH. So, they did millions and millions and sold out fast. So the space is not dead, but the space is dead for the hype bubbles, right? Nike sold millions of them, and then they're partnering with somebody to allocate those into the digital era, and the digital arena, right? Rather. Why? Because you got to understand, as I go to anywhere and watch these kids sit down on their phone all day and enjoy the digital space. They said that Grand Theft Auto was going to have the money that's in Grand Theft Auto would translate to real money. So imagine you in Grand Theft Auto, you rob a bank, and this bank, and let's say that there's a competition for some kind of heist. I'm just making up something. But whoever actually goes and get the money first, then that money will be translated into their digital wallet, and that cryptocurrency can actually be used in real life, right? So they're trying to blend the digital world and the real world together, and crypto makes that legal, right? Makes that possible. And these games, especially these Web3 AI games, I'm seeing some crazy stuff. Ridiculous stuff that's going on right now. Like, y'all should really pay attention, man. The world is changing fast. And then we got what happened with Coinbase. So Coinbase, the SEC said they're going to come after them, right? And I think that was always a charade in the first place, because I think that they have a good relationship with the SEC, number one. And it's a reason why they was able to be able to IPO in the first place. And I think that was a whole charade, to make it seem like they're equalizing the people that they go after, like Binance and things of that nature. But I never thought that they was really going after Coinbase. I was surprised. And after they announced that they was going after the Coinbase, you really did not see a drop in cryptocurrency. Now, normally, in another era, that would have shooken up the market. It didn't shake the market at all, right? At all. And that is very telltale. So now they said that they dropped that, and they dismissed the case, and now we see Coinbase going back up. Now, this is important because it can mark, you know, some leadway that the SEC has, that they're not going after a full bulldog status, and that can represent growth in the market to come. America has a lot of decisions that it needs to make, especially because Japan, I believe, just reached the first, you know, publicly traded Bitcoin ETF. Was it Japan or Hong Kong? It might have been Hong Kong. So, you know, with them fighting these currency wars right now, they have to understand that it's a delicate balance on how they go about regulating these things, because they just trying to figure out how do they position themselves to be currency leaders without completely stifling innovation, because the necessity of that money funneling to America is key. Now, America don't completely run the whole world, right? So, you know, Bitcoin is borderless, right? A lot of these cryptos are borderless, meaning that just because America is not using them, right, does not mean that other countries won't use them, right? Because you got to think about countries, especially whose currency is not worth much at all, and people who are unbanked, right, who don't have banks, and like places like Pakistan, right, where a lot of merchants out here that do fashion do a lot of business in Pakistan. When I was doing my clothing business heavy, I used to have to wire money to Pakistan all the time because they was making everything from scratch. So imagine if instead I can go into my digital wallet and just send them crypto instantly. That makes it for a much better, safer transaction, right? So now people in that country can be getting money, right, without it being regulated. So it can be a kid on YouTube, right? Because a lot of these countries, they get millions of views, but they don't have ways to even take in the money from like YouTube revenue, so they're not really getting paid. So instead, imagine YouTube says, okay, as long as you got a digital wallet, we'll pay you in cryptocurrency, right? There's even ways to where you take in, even Shopify, I believe, I don't have it set it up, I think they allow you to take in crypto. They actually been doing it for a very long time, right? So imagine you take in crypto. Now there's a protocol to where it can be set to where you can say, well, you don't like the volatility, right? Well, let's say that the moment that you take it in, it'll automatically convert it into what's known as a stable coin, which is pegged to $1. So therefore the price stays stable. So there's a lot of different solutions that go on top of this. And I'm having this conversation with you all now because I'm just putting it back on your mind to go study. Go do your research. Put in 10,000 hours of research in this, because the information is still not prevalent enough. Now, not your keys, not your crypto is very important, because a lot of these wallets that we just found out, they're putting in back-end code for them to be able to hack these particular, you know, wallets. So it's important to make sure that if you're going to get into this space, protect your keys and things of that nature. Have them written down. Get you some of those still cryptocurrency ledgers. So these are things that we're going to be going over in the BWO more. I'm about to get back on tour. We was busy with the tour. Chicago Crypto Bully, I'm about to hop on this flight, so otherwise I would take in a request. But I definitely want to build with you. Ghana, if you are in Ghana, send me a DM, ask me what I'm doing and why Ghana, and we're going to lock in. So I'm going to, let me see, matter of fact, let me bring bro in just I really want to partner with bro on some things. I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
There you
I
go.
know you said you had to get on the plane, so I don't know if you accepted it on accident or whatever.
No, I did it on purpose, so at least the people will know who to
Definitely
tap in with.
appreciate the build, what you're sharing with the people, letting them know too exactly what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely the time that not so much that we want to focus on cryptocurrencies, but we want to focus on the technologies that the cryptocurrencies are running on. Because y'all got to understand, the blockchain allows you to create value, and the blockchain is here to hold y'all value. If we understand that Bitcoin, well, not Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies were created to bank the unbanked. But what else does it do? It gives individuals the ability that don't want to bank with the current banking system to bank themselves as well. And that's an aspect I think people are really losing in the whole price going up, price going down type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's focusing on how high or how low something is when the technology is not stopping to grow. In fact, in the bear markets is where you see most of the building actually going on with a lot of these protocols and platforms. They're being built in the bear, which now allows individuals that are interacting with those platforms during the bear early to then profit off them when the bull comes back around. We ain't got to wait to jump on the moving train. We was already on the train before it took off.
That's a fact. Bro, we got a lot of building to do. We got to really sit down and build some things out, man. I wish you can come in and, if you don't mind, come give a quick little private class in the BWO, and I want to host a couple of public sessions with you as well, just on like ground level. You know what I mean? To like, I want to start reiterating a lot of things because I want a time to go by, so where now I can just pull out all the receipts. You know what I'm saying? Of everything that has been said, and people be, and now I can be like, see, this is what I was talking about back then. When you teaching somebody about something long term, they pay attention only
Right.
to the sexy stuff, right? Like, okay, Tip, I heard everything. I spoke for 3 hours, but you only paid attention to things that you feel like gonna make you some money today. You ain't pay attention to all the predictions, what I say the space is going to be, what to look out for, none of that. So it's like even with NFTs, my brother was asking me, he said, since NFTs had bubbled, he asked me this almost like last year, do I think that took a hit on me? I said no, because I never taught niggas to go
Yeah.
buy. I said go create, right? And people
Right.
don't listen, but that's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, this internet is full of people who never goddamn listen and always looking for somebody to, take the accountability off their shoulders, right? So even with the cryptocurrency, if you ever got into Infinite Wealth Strategies, we taught you how to use Etherscan so you could understand which ones were scams, what were real, the whole nine. And most people won't even understand to teach you that information because
Right.
we did it from a stay safe standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the worst thing that I ever was a part of was having that auto
Mm-hmm.
trading by shit that I was dealing with because I let somebody else word guide me instead of my own. But when I teach something my damn self, everything has been 100% solid, and that's when people make the most gains and people have long-term perspective. And it's like, even I've been so busy, I ain't been able to stay up to date on everything. So I keep a high level perspective. I stay in tune with things. But now I'm about to get back into it on
Exactly.
1000% mode. You did? So, we got the AI here, we got the DAOs, and DAOs are something I really want to dial in on so I can take
Now
a
I don't know if
step
you've seen
back
what I
and I can
posted
build.
earlier, but they
You
now
feel me?
have
So,
legal representations for DAOs called legal rappers,
mm,
which now gives the DAO
mm-hmm.
a public
Yeah,
representation in order to interact with public entities, companies, corporations. You know what I'm saying? It's similar to an individual. But for those that subscribe to this type of stuff, it's just interesting how the parallels are. But it's almost like the living flesh human being doesn't have a representation in court, so you use the straw man or your corporate entity in order to stand in for you. So it's that legal straw man for the DAOs that's around now. And these could be LLCs, these can be nonprofits, these can be charters. We're working on trust. So DAOs are the new corporations, which are already being
yeah.
recognized in Wyoming and Delaware right now.
Yeah, see that, and that's key. This is why, like, I want to hold a few public forums. Like, basic level information is what people still don't get, and I know my problem sometimes is when I grab something, I move on to the next thing, but I got to remember, like, everybody still don't get the beginning, and like, so I definitely want to scale back, and I want to build with you, and then I want to have some high level, more advanced structural setup things for people that are ready to like, let's go advance and take things to the next level. I want to be in the future with it. Like, everything is here now. There's no excuses. There's nothing to wait for. The tools are here. The community is here. The access is here. And individuals like you who've been putting your foot on the neck of this nonstop every single day, through the ups, through the downs, through the lows, through the
Appreciate it.
highs, brother. You have been there. That's why I appreciate brothers like yourself, man. And we got a lot to build. And you've been really helping people, especially out in Chicago. That's why I wanted you on a tour.
Hey, in fact,
And I
now that
look
you
forward to
got me
building
on
more
live, bro,
with you,
let me
brother.
give
We
you
got a
your
lot to.
flowers. You're the first person to ever bring me out, like, on a major forum, especially in
Oh,
my
man.
city. Chicago ain't brought me out. You get what I'm saying? You gave me that voice and you gave me that
Yes, sir.
platform and you gave me that stage in my city, bro. So I appreciate that. And I got you whatever you need from me, 100%. I got you hands down from here to the day I'm gone, bro.
Man, that's love. You know why, brother? Because I remember when even to this day, I don't always get my just due. I just be kicking down doors and going in the rooms. People don't even be realizing how we move on the back end. But I just know when you doing work, And it's not even about, oh, I got to get this mass attention, but you know that the attention that you get is more valuable than the shit that people are putting on stages. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I respect brothers that stand on what they stand on, that's consistent in that build. So if I have a stage that I can build for people that I think deserve it, I'm going to do that. You feel me? And I'm going to continue to do that. So salute to you, man,
Salute
being a
to you,
general
bro.
out here.
Appreciate you letting me come on the bill. Couple people, hey, look, my page is private because I'm a private individual and I don't like the trolls. Another thing, me and 19 Keys are not going to inbox y'all after this live. So if we start inboxing y'all after this live, that ain't us, family. Send me a friend request. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. Let y'all get on my page. I appreciate you too, guys. Safe travels, all right?
Be blessed, see?
Peace.
All right.